It's sovereignty season, and it's time for us to water the seeds that we've neglected. If you guys listen to part one episode, you know that I talked about watering the seeds you've neglected and watch what happens next. How do you actually do that? So, I gave you, I believe, about 3 or 4 mindset shifts so that you can begin to water the seeds you've neglected, or even just water the seeds that you planted so that they can continue to grow. Okay. Because there's a lot of us out there that we're like, listen, um, I planted these seeds. Okay. I put some work in and I'm not seeing the results that I desire to see. So I go over mindset shifts that allow you to be able to not only just notice that those seeds you planted are growing, but also how to navigate through like the void, the part where you're like just waiting and you're not really seeing the results just yet, okay? And more. So, you guys, welcome to part two. So, in part one, like I said, if you listen to part one, you already know. You don't need more. You already know that you've already planted the seeds. You know what we discussed. You've been thinking about the seeds you planted. And this is when the real work comes in, okay? The real work is growing them. How do we grow those seeds? We talked about letting go of the outcome for one of the mindset shifts. Okay, that's how you grow the seed. That's how you start watering the seed again. Letting go of the outcome. We talked about also letting go of time. Okay, letting go of time. And then another thing we talked about is letting go of the how. Those are the 3 key things to being able to water those seeds, being able to continue doing the things that you love to do without feeling like you're not aligned because you're not seeing the results quick enough, you know? And then we stop and we start and we stop and we start, or we switch things. And then we see other people that are being successful with the first thing that we were doing, but we stopped doing that because we weren't seeing the same success. And we move on to something else, and then the same repetitive cycle happens. How do we stop that cycle? Those mindset shifts definitely are where you want to start. Okay. Because the moment that you stop trying to control everything, that's the moment where things actually start to flow better. Okay. And you start actually feeling the flow. By the way, let me just tell you, before I started recording this episode, I heard a train. And if you guys are familiar with me going live on Insight Timer last year, I believe I did 2 lives talking about a train. And then I actually saw a train. It was happening so much last year. And so today I heard the train again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right before I'm about to record. And that is for somebody. So if you've been seeing a train lately, hearing a train lately, I believe that trains represent things are about to take off. Things are about to take off. Now, when you notice a train, there are times where that train's not moving too fast for some people. Some people, they might look at the train and it might be moving slow. For some people, they might look at the train and the train might be moving fast. So you have to understand where you are, what season you're in right now. Are you moving faster than where you were? Or are you meant to take some rest and ground yourself and, create a system or a foundation for what you actually desire? Like, what season are you in right now? So, I just wanted to say that because I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing the train. The train's coming. And you're not taking no baggage with you. Okay. I'm not going to go into that whole thing, but you're not taking no baggage with you. Okay. You cannot take the baggage with you. You just need to get on the train so that you can continue to move forward toward what you desire. All right. So, in this episode, you guys, I'm going to continue with some mindset shifts that you can do to water those seeds you've neglected, or just to water seeds in general to be able to keep going, not stop, and not feel like you have to keep restarting, but just starting from where you left off, but just with a new mindset. Okay. So, first of all, we want to make sure that you keep the vision. Keep the vision. What is it you really want? Okay. Just because you're letting go of things, releasing things, those mindset shifts that we talked about, letting go of time, letting go of the outcome, and letting go of the how. Just because you do that, that doesn't mean that you're lost. And I know some of you right now, I already know that some of you, you've let go of that survival mode mentality, right? And so because you've let that go, you're probably in a space where you feel like it's a void, where you feel like before you were doing so much just to survive, just to make money, just to, you felt like you wanted to also be of service, but you wanted to receive some reciprocity from that, some compensation for your hard work and the things that you were doing, right? But also it's because of your living situation too. You were like, look, I need more money. I want to do this and I can't do that. So this is the way that I'm going to service, the collective or the world or whomever, my clients, to be able to do that, right? But once you let go of survival mode, I guarantee that you felt like you were in this void where you weren't really sure what you really wanted to do or actually how to go about doing it, because you're like, wow, finally, I'm not really focused on surviving and making the money. Now I'm really focused on what I really want to do, not what I feel like I have to do to survive. So then once you start letting go, you feel like, oh snap, your nervous system is starting to go, right? Feeling like you're lost. But when you let go, it doesn't mean that you're lost, right? Don't get lost in that part. Focus, okay? Keep the vision. You still need the vision. You still need to know where you're going, because your vision is what directs your energy. And that's why sometimes when we go through those voids, right? Or I like to call it sometimes like that tomb experience. When we go through that, sometimes we feel like we don't really know what we want to do anymore. We're like, what in the world? We're asking the questions, right? When all we've been talking about to people is, I want to do this and this is what I do and da 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 da. And then we go through this transition in our life and we're like questioning things all over again. And I feel like it's okay to question things. Just don't get over, just don't overly do it, because I know how that is to just ask, 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 and ask. And then you create more for yourself through so many questions when really you already really know the answer. You're just trying to put the pieces together so clearly and so precise to where you can see the outcome. And sometimes it's not meant for you to see the outcome. Sometimes it's not meant for you to see the whole process. Woo! It rolled off my tongue like butter. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, y'all, right? So you still need to know where you're going, because your vision is going to direct your energy. So then you don't feel so blah. Like, ugh, I feel like I'm resting too much, and I feel like I'm getting lazy, and I feel like I don't know where I'm going. And it's okay to be in that space. Just don't stay there, because you really know what you want to do. You really do. Okay. So it's like that difference. It's the difference between moving with purpose and just moving. And I know some of you guys that have been in survival mode, trust me, I know that when you are in that space of just doing things to survive, right? Some of us, some of you weren't moving with purpose. You were just moving. And so you feel different now that you're like, wait, it's some seeds here that I planted a while ago that I neglected because I was in survival mode. And so now that I'm not, I feel like, wow, I feel free. I feel light. I feel different. And that could be real, like it's life changing. That's a big moment for you to discover and actually, be aware of. So now you begin to start moving with purpose over just moving to survive. Okay. So right now it's about letting go of control, but never letting go of the clarity. You know what you want. You know what seeds you planted. You know what things you started and you stopped over and over again because of something. Maybe that might be where you pick things back up, you know? Only you would know. So let me go into another mindset shift, you guys. So keeping the vision is so important, right? And then the next one is about identity, right? Identify your seeds, because that's going to really help you, right? Because there's a part of my life where, I had to really sit with myself and ask myself, like, what are my actual seeds? What do I really want to do now that I'm not surviving? Now that I'm not so concerned with those same things. What are my actual seeds? So I think that in order to, this probably should have been number one, actually. But now that you know that you've neglected some seeds that you've, planted before, and you're realizing that you're now, if you're out of survival mode, if you're not, you're coming out. You're coming out. Okay. But if you're out of survival mode, now the first thing I feel like you should really do is identify your seeds, identify that. What are your actual seeds? Not everything that you could do, not just all these random ideas, not what looks good online, what's expected of you. I mean, you've been there, you've done that. But what you've already committed to? What have you already committed to? Okay? What did you already decide, even like before you were even an adult? What did you say you wanted to do in life? Most times when I get stuck on things, I'll go back to my childhood. I'll be like, okay, inner child, I'm saying, like, what did you really want to do? I know things change along the way, but what did you really want to do when you were young, before you even thought about reciprocity, before you even thought about anything that could go wrong, before you even thought about what people would say? You just said, this is what I want to do. What was that? Think on that, because sometimes that's the key. I know how it feels to be confused and how it feels to be stuck and feeling like you don't know what the next step is. You don't know what you really want to do first, because maybe you have so many things that you want to do. And so you might not know where to start, but just take it one step at a time. Okay. A lot of people get stuck right there. They just feel like they need to just keep planting new seeds, and then they never grow anything. Too many seeds sometimes, and no roots. I'm gonna have to say that again for the people in the back. Sometimes we just plant too many seeds, and we haven't even, the roots, they don't even get a chance to grow. We just been planting all kinds of things. And I know how that is too sometimes, when we've just been planting all these different seeds, but we haven't even allowed the roots to grow. We just keep planting new things, just keep restarting, starting over, starting over. And I know how that is to have so many things that you want to get accomplished in life, especially those of us that are like, we know how to do this. Where do we start? We get so confused, not knowing like what really to do first, right? But you got to choose something, because some roots have to start growing. Okay, some of us are wondering why we don't see certain results. Have your roots grown yet? Have they started to grow yet? Have you nurtured what you planted long enough to get some roots growing? And roots, they also represent a system. It's the foundation, right? When we think about why doesn't it seem like anything's growing? It's like maybe you just planted too much all at one time, and you haven't been nurturing the things that you really desire in life. You've been trying to figure out a way, or maybe you've just been confused on where to start. So you're like, I just want to do little bits here and there and there and there, and then you're like, man, I'm not seeing what I want to see. Why is that? Okay, so it reminds me of masculine and feminine energy. Okay, you need both sides, right? Everyone has masculine and feminine energy within them. Okay, your feminine feels and senses and directs, very intuitive, right? The feminine energy is the one that says, this feel aligned, let's go with this. And then the masculine energy comes along and says, all right, I got you. Okay, so you feel this way. Now I'm going to take the action. I'm going to execute this thing. Masculine energy is like, say less, let's move forward. Let's keep going. Let's do this thing. It's about action, right? So think about direction without action is just dreaming. It's just a dream. And I know that you're tired of just dreaming. How do I know this? Because I know I was tired of just dreaming. And you're me, and I'm you. So I know if you're listening to this right now, you've gotten tired of just dreaming. Just dreaming is direction with no action. You know where you want to go, but the action doesn't align. Now think about this. What about action without direction? Now, what is that? Somebody got to leave that in the comments. What is action without direction? Action without direction is chaos. You're just doing. And you're getting burnt out. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're getting frustrated. I hope you're not like me where you start losing your voice all the time. You can't seem to get your voice back because you're just talking and going and going and going. And you're not creating space for you to rest properly. Ooh, action without direction is chaos. But you know what the beautiful thing about chaos is? I know sometimes we get afraid of chaos and we're like, all right, chaos, listen, I've been through enough in my life. I don't need no more chaos. I don't need to be confused about anything. Like, I just need to know where to go and have the clarity. That's why chaos comes. Chaos comes to bring you clarity. Woo! Oh my gosh, guys. Come on. Y'all got to write that down. Like, somebody has to write that down. Chaos comes to bring the clarity. Man, you keep asking yourself certain questions and praying, trying to manifest certain things, and you're wondering why things start to happen in your life. Well, how do you think clarity comes? Sometimes, if for some people, it might just come after trial and error. For some of us, it comes after that. But for some of us, clarity comes with us resting, with us being in like silence and stillness at some point, right? And for others, it might come through chaos, through going through something to where you really know what you really want to do. You really know what action you need to take and what direction you're going in. When you bring them together, that's when you create something amazing. That's when you create your reality. You have the direction and you're going to take the action. You're done with just dreaming. You found your clarity through the chaos. Right? You've embraced your masculine energy and your feminine energy because you know you need both of them to get to where you're trying to get to. All right, so let's move to another one, another mindset shift. Let's talk about watering your seeds. Let's shift our minds when we think about, well, how do we, watering our seeds? Because this part right here is where people will either win or they get stuck. So it's just the two. You either win or you get stuck. You know what I'm saying? So watering your seeds, but not with force. So let's switch our mindset from I have to water my seeds through force to make sure that it happens and to make sure that I get this result, to make sure that it works. Hold on. We don't want to water our seeds with force. We want to water our seeds with flow. We want to water our seeds with flow. Because a lot of y'all are trying to force growth. You're trying to force it. You're trying to rush it. That's what's happening. You're trying to rush it through overworking, through overthinking. And then you're calling it consistency. Well, I'm being consistent, but oh my gosh, what I've learned about consistency. I used to think I wasn't being consistent at all just because I wasn't seeing the result that I wanted. Or maybe I'm not being consistent enough. When I was posting every day. Oh, now you're supposed to post 3 times a day. Man, when I told my mom that, she was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, Mom. It's not 2 times a week. It's not even every day. It's 3 times a day. And then I said, and it's not really 3 times a day. That's like minimum. Okay. There's some people that are posting 10 times a day. And I'm not saying that has to be you, but my mind was just blown when I saw some people post so much in a day. But then I realized that when you're like just flowing through life and you just want to just share your experiences throughout your day, you don't really count. Now some people they do. I'm not saying they don't. Some people it's very intentional. But I do remember seeing myself post like multiple times in one day and I didn't even notice because I was just, oh, I'm at the park. Oh, I got this idea, y'all. Let me tell you this. I'm walking somewhere. Oh, y'all, okay, I have to share this with y'all because look what I just saw and look what's happening. It's just that easy. It's just that is the flow. You're not rushing. You're not forcing anything. You're not feeling like you're overworking or overthinking. You're just in flow. You're just like, let me just do what I feel like, you know what I'm saying? When I feel that, let me just do it. Let me just do it. Right? It's the easiest when you just feel that inspiration, that motivation, you just pick up your camera or whatever it might be, right? You just get that new idea about something and you take action on it in some way. It feels great when that happens. Okay, so changing our mindset about how we water our seeds, not through force, but through flow, allowing things to happen. And I'm not saying get stuck on doing things when you feel it all the time, because we all know that through our human experience, sometimes we're not going to feel like doing things. Okay, so use your discernment, use your intuition to know when it's time for you to flow, how to flow through things. Okay, what does that look like for you? Because when you're doing the overworking, when you're overthinking, when you feeling overwhelmed, that's you know, it feels more like pressure. But with real consistency, that's showing up in a way that actually supports you. And real consistency is sustainable. Mm. It's intentional and it's real. It's real because you can feel it. Like it's a different feeling that you have when you're in this flow than when you're forcing things. When you force things, man, when you don't get the result that you want, you're ready to just turn up. You're like, look, I can't do this no more. I can't take this anymore. Why is it that it creates this? Oh, then you create this storm. Then you have to learn to be the peace in the storm, and that you create the storm. So only you can get yourself out of that storm that you created for yourself. And you're just like, oh, why? Why? It's not my fault. It's theirs. I was doing what I needed to do, and I didn't see the results. I didn't see this. I didn't see that. Oh, but it always takes you back to self. It always takes you back to you. So I want you to ask yourself today, am I being intentional? Am I showing up in a way that actually supports myself? Or am I showing up through force? Am I rushing? All right, you guys. So the last step, the last mindset shift I'm going to give you guys, I want y'all to think about getting out of your own way. And this one right here, this one, getting out of your own way, this is one of the biggest blockages. Man, y'all. Ooh, I know some of y'all been in your own way. I already feel it. I already know. I already know. I feel like everybody has been in their own way at some point in life. And until we realize, like, oh, it was me that was blocking myself. It was me that was creating these situations. Right? Not the lack of opportunity, not the lack of ideas, not the lack of support. Ooh, that hurt. Because sometimes that's the first thing we go to. I don't have enough support. Ooh, we. Ooh. And yourself is like, Support me. Support me. Support me, and support will come. So support yourself and watch the support flow to you. But being in your way is one of the biggest blockages, right? It's just you watching yourself, questioning everything, second guessing every move. I know a lot of you have asked yourself, like, is this even working? Am I doing enough? What do people want? And just asking yourself all these questions. And then after you don't see the result you desire, you feel like you're stuck. Right? You feel like you're stuck. But every time you allow yourself to flow, that's your authentic self stepping in and saying, listen, let's move with intention. Let's move supporting ourselves because that is sustainable. Let's move in the direction that we want to move in, not the direction that's expected of us. So, how do we activate these mindset shifts? How do we do that? First, I want you to think about, what are your seeds? Not everything, just the real ones, because I know there are times where we want to just do everything. But what are your staples? What are I call them pillars for myself. What are your pillars? What does that look like? I want you to think about where you're forcing things to happen, where you're overthinking, where are you avoiding doing certain things. All right. And I want you to be honest about it, because this is how you take your power back. This is how you stop neglecting those certain seeds, because it's funny, because we'll plant a lot of seeds, right? So it's funny how we will plant all these different seeds and we'll water the ones that we feel like we'll get to a certain result first in, right? We'll be like, okay, I really want to do this and this, but like this is going to get me there. Or this is I'm going to receive the results quicker, so I'll go with this. And I'm not even telling you that that's wrong. I'm just suggesting to you to do what you really want to do first. Do what, pick something. Don't just pick the thing that you feel like is going to give you the greatest result right now, and then you're not happy doing it because you're thinking about the outcome first, not how you feel first. So I just want you to think about that, because expansion is here. Okay? Expansion is here for you. And this month, if we haven't learned anything else, know that the seeds that we plant, they're meant to grow. They are meant to grow, but will we water them? Will we nurture them? Will we be patient? And even if we can't see what's happening underneath that soil after we plant that seed, will we trust the process? Right? All right. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this episode, if you learned anything from it, if it was a reminder of anything, let me know. And I can't wait to hear from you. So I need you to understand this before I leave. Please understand that you do not need a new life. You don't need to keep starting over. You just need to nurture the one you already have. Water those seeds and trust the timing, and get out of your own way. Because the moment you get out of your own way and you just start to take a step at a time and just allow things to flow, everything that you've been waiting for will meet you where you are. And I know that's for someone. I know it is. You probably got chills right now. Everything you've been waiting for can finally meet you when you get out of your own way, when you trust the timing, when you water something, even if you start with one seed at a time. Okay, you guys, I'm going to see you guys on the next episode where we go a little deeper into things on Eastwell Unlimited TV right here. I'm so excited, you guys. But remember that you are magic. So today, be magical, spread love, and share your freaking story because you deserve to be heard. And someone out there is waiting to hear from you. I love you. Peace.